So you add the Convert Anchor Point tool to your tool belt after being able to create perfectly smooth curves, and you can do literally everything else. Really, that's all it is. So we're going to take our pen tool and dive in. So number 4, we'll start just by drawing some straight lines. All right, I'm going to hit Shift X again to flip-flop my fill and stroke. And again, if I want to make those curves, just hold down Option, click and drag. Right? And you can, that's things we've been doing already, doing quite a bit. But if I want to do some type of combination, that's when you actually click and drag with your Convert Anchor Point tool and break those control handles. And once you do that one time, you can see they're permanently broken, while these other ones, oops, click off, these other ones, they still are attached. So this is really powerful, but remember, of course, with great power comes great responsibility. And so it's easy to kind of create, paths that have a little kink to them, right? And if you're expecting a nice smooth path and you see that, it doesn't look very good. So when that happens, you just hold down Option, click and drag again, and when you delete them, or just click them once, and then click and drag again, it deletes them, and now they're redrawn and they're reconnected. So, but we're going to be, for all these exercises, you're going to have to be breaking your control handles. So let's start with a shape like this. We'll call it some type of swoosh. So I'm getting tired of green. Let me go ahead and change my color a little bit. All right, click and drag. Again, just a few points needed. Click and drag. Click and drag. The more you do this, the more you'll have a Jedi sense of, where the anchor point should go. And you can see, I know I need around the corner. I can tell, especially now with the latest version of Illustrator, we have these sort of guides that will tell us. So I'll just click and drag that a little ahead of time. Finish this. Need to do a little cleanup work down here. Right, and then finally, now that last point is kind of already drawn. It's already a half, because it only has one control handle, so I don't need to break that one. Okay, so you're going to want to do each one of these. Again, you need to be able to do this quickly. Bam. Helps to make sound effects while you're pen tooling. I need to do a little cleanup work there. All right, go back to my pen tool. I'll continue my path. Drag. By continuing the path, it also deleted one of my control handles, so I didn't have to break that one ahead of time. Oh, now one more. Again, have as fast as possible. Controlled accuracy, right? We want it fast, but we want it good. There you go. Okay. When in doubt, zoom out. All right. For the next one, I like to start at the corners, but you don't have to. Again, for those, you want these little humps to be really nice and smooth. Oops. In the path. All right. Need to break that. Hold down Option. Straight lines are easy. But again, notice how few anchor points you actually need to create that complex shape. Okay. Now again, that cloud is pretty easy. Let's do something a little more difficult. So I'm going to go ahead and lock this, Object Lock, or hit Command 2 so I don't accidentally click on it. Since it's in the very front layer, I don't need to worry about stacking order. And again, I'll just click and drag, create those first ones. Right, now a shape like that, I try to do with one anchor point, but I'm going to need one in the middle. Okay, notice how I'm breaking my control handles. Sometimes those shapes are just a little too roundy up at the top, so I need an extra anchor point. That one. Again, if you can always draw that next point, and you don't have to break your control handles ahead of time. But I do prefer to fix things as I go, as opposed to drawing a whole bunch of straight lines and then going back. There are some people out there that like to just always do straight lines like that and then go back and break things. But I don't find that to be as efficient. This way I can kind of design as I go and not just always have to go back and fix things. All right, you're getting the idea. Okay, just go through this entire shape, and if it's hard, go do it again. All right, now we have kind of happy fish here. I'll sample this color. Actually, I'll sample that color. But I'll start with my stroke. So I hit Shift X. See, look, 3 anchor points for that side. Hold down Option. Somehow I clicked off. My mouse has been doing that. Every now and again, it will kind of double click on me. Again, holding down Command. And then, again, just do every step. I might have to send that to the back. Command Shift left bracket, send it all the way to the back, and then just do the rest. All right, for this one, you can see about speed. Now this one's a little tricky. You can see might need to add a point. Add it, and then I'll hold down Direct, Select, move it in there. That one was a little tricky because that curve threw me for a second. I've got to continue my path. Like, if you haven't been using this tool a lot, you really can't do enough practice. Like, this is definitely a tool that just because you learn it and it makes sense, it doesn't mean you can't practice. I might have used this story in an earlier lesson, but my very first freelance job while I was learning Illustrator was tracing comic books. There was a company that was doing animated comic book stills, and they had artists designing comic books. This is in the late 90s, and so I had to, just cut up pre-existing comic book art and build it in layers, and did that for about 2 weeks. And by the end of that time, that and a job on somebody's PhD where you needed maps drawn really forced me to come to terms with the pen tool. Okay, and then for this last one, again, it's a maze, but you do this a couple times, it's going to be a lot of clicking and dragging, and you'll get really good at drawing curves and drawing straight lines. Right? It might feel like you're at some local restaurant going through the children's menu, but trust me, this is a really good way of practicing, and just put on a good TV show and just pen tool and see if you can pen tool while distracted. See if you can pen tool while having a discussion with a family member. And keep it nice and clean, and most importantly, accurate. Okay? So, again, combining curves, straight lines, curve anchor point tool, At this point now, with the pen tool, if you've mastered that, you can draw anything.